Week 11 electric football with Stu, the handsome one, and Steve, the crazy one. Let's go. So it is week 11, and as you know, we love Thursday night. Our set was stolen.
Unbelievable.
If you see it on eBay, please bid and send it back to us. I'm sure it's in the thousands. All right. Titans, Jaguars. Here's a battle of
Back to Thursday night games.
2-7 versus 3-6, and but this is actually slightly interesting.
It is.
You get to see Mariota. You get to see the development of Bortles, two good young quarterbacks.
Yep, I do like Bortles.
And it, strangely enough, has playoff implications in the absolutely miserable AFC South. I like Bortles as his ability to move around in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield and hitting the Dos Allens, Robinson and Hurd. Hearns? It sounds like that, you know, the Muppet, the Swedish chef. I got the head for that too, don't I? I got a Peyton Manning head today. Jesus.
I'm doing this.
Anyway, Stu's doing that. And the production guys. So I like the Jags, Stu.
Well, look, it is the rookie versus the second-year quarterback, so there's not a lot of drop-off as far as I'm concerned in their skill level. I'm liking the Titans' defense here a little better, though. They're still ranked pretty high. I don't know why. I really haven't been watching them, so I don't have an opinion. But the Jags have been hot lately. And, you know, granted, they won one. Yeah, gifted one. But nonetheless, they still had to win it, which they did. And we've had gifts before. I just think the Titans squeak one out here based on their defense so far. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Actually raises a good comment question, so if you want to fill in the comment section. Should the NFL, when it's the last play of a game, should they reverse them?
A la Green Bay, Seattle?
Right, the little doink, you know, should the little doink.
The doink and the interception catch not 2 years ago or last year?
If you don't know what the little doink is, then you have not been watching electric football.
That's right.
Raiders at Lions.
Right.
Lions tried to give one away.
And they just couldn't.
Yeah, just Green Bay refused to take it from them.
Here.
Yeah, we'd like to lose this game.
Here. No, here again.
But the Lions are last in rushing, or at least last in successful rushing, and there's no AP-like threat to run for over 200 yards against the Raiders. I like the Raiders on the road. I think they'll take what the Lions give them.
Me too. I thought the Raiders stunk last week, which was surprising, all things considered. But the Lions won for the first time in Lambeau since Barry Sanders was a little cub. And I think it's a big letdown game for them. They just won their Super Bowl. Let's face it. That was their Super Bowl because, what is that, their third win or maybe fourth win? Not even checking the Lions anymore. But I think the Raiders are just a little more balanced on both sides of the ball. If they can get Latavius Murray running, I think they have a better day. Derek Carr had a down week. I'm liking the Raiders too.
Lions 2-7.
There you go. Thanks for doing the stats.
So we have the Colts at the Falcons, and this is the start of my quarterback questions. Matt Hasselbeck? Think about I'm going to do a couple of these, but think about some of the people that are starting games this week. It's crazy how hard it is to stay healthy as an NFL quarterback. So the Falcons are on a 2-game losing streak. And having barely beaten the Titans, they avoided a 4-game losing streak. Colts have lost 3 of the last 4, but they've lost against better teams, if that makes any sense.
But they never beat good teams. So
they don't beat good teams, but they've lost against better teams, and they have beaten a good team in that streak. I'm taking the Colts in this one.
Houston's lucking out with Indy falling apart here. Gore isn't running the ball either, and that with Andrew Luck back there, that needed to happen. With Matt Hasselbeck, it had to happen even more. The Falcons come off the bye needing to win one here. They need to win this after losing to Tampa Bay and to the 49ers, and I see them doing so. Devontae Freeman could have a big day here. I am taking the Falcons.
All right, I'm going Colts. St. Louis at the Ravens. And just real quick, wouldn't it make sense to flip the Ravens and the Bills as far as, like, division lineups? Because, you know, is Maryland in the north to you?
Well, that's like Indy's in the south.
Yeah, it's just one that seems pretty obvious to me, you know, but whatever. Anyway, Case Keenum?
Case Keenum. Love his top 40 countdowns.
Ravens were robbed of a win, like we talked about. St. Louis is not living up to Steve's early season prognostication. including the defense. But I still like their defense in this game. I don't see where the Ravens can threaten them. I like Todd Gurley to get untracked. The Rams run the ball well. Ravens don't stop the run. Give me the Rams.
I think this is a tough game to pick. Both teams are very inconsistent. They're up and down every week. When you think they're going to win a game, they go ahead and have a splatter of a day. I just don't know because St. Louis lost two of their offensive linemen this week, and I think that hurts Gurley a lot. I am going to go with the home team here. I'm taking the Ravens.
Okay, we're really disagreeing here.
Yes, well, we suck.
Tampa Bay. Well,
we're bound to go 16-0.
One of us will get it right. Tampa Bay 4-5 at the Eagles 4-5, and it feels like a lot of the NFL is 4-5 or 5-4. There's obviously the couple of elite teams this year, and then there's an awful lot of mediocrity. And here, mediocrity meets head-to-head with Mark Sanchez representing pretty much the pinnacle of mediocrity.
Thank God he was so Sanchezian on Sunday.
So another, Mark Sanchez, Case Matt Hasselbeck. These are not the marquee names that you were expecting to see in these kind of games. Though Sam Bradford, what's that Blondie song, Heart of Glass, Ankles. That's Sam Bradford.
Ankles of glass.
Sorry about that, folks. Eagles lost on a jump ball to Landry.
That was a fair catch.
Neither team is playing well.
They're both inconsistent.
Jameis tried to fumble away a victory. Luckily for them, there was a penalty. But I do like what Tampa Bay is going to be able to do in this game. And the Eagles have not had the kind of three-headed rushing attack we expected. Tampa Bay is pretty tough against the run. I think Winston's had 3 rushing touchdowns in consecutive games. I'm taking Tampa Bay in this one.
Yeah, I can't see the Eagles losing 2 at home. Neither team is worthy of a pick here because you never know who's going to show up. I think Mark Sanchez brings the Eagles down a peg, and Tampa very well could take one here. I'm just going to go with the fact that they're not going to lose 2 at home. They've got to keep pace. The Giants losing was a big victory for them. I see the Eagles winning.
Okay. Broncos at Chicago, and Brock Osweiler?
Brock Osweiler?
I
thought he was my butcher.
And not even that, Jeremy Langford, your premier players are gone, but Langford may have just shown that Matt Forte is expendable in Chicago. I mean, that was a big game for him, 182 all-purpose yards, 2 TDs, against what I thought was the best defense in the NFL earlier in the season. Who can say what Osweiler is going to be able to do? It's a wild card. The Broncos can afford to lose one here. Chicago can't. I actually like Chicago at home. They're on a little mini roll here. They're showing more than I expected out of Chicago.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm taking the Bears.
Yes, as Peyton Manning rides into the sunset, he got his 3 yards. Great, held the ball up, and immediately went to the sides because he has a boo-boo on his foot. Retire. You're done. Your brother's better anyway, so just retire. He needed 3 yards. He got them. The Bears aren't going to give up that easy. They need the game. I'm taking the Bears.
Okay. It was actually sad to see. First thing was they kept trying to cut to the highlight, but for some reason, I guess it was Fox, was cutting in after Hillman was already out of bounds. It was the weirdest thing. I didn't see that play for 3 tries.
This is also the network that lost the World Series for about 10 minutes during this broadcast.
Okay.
Well, the guy from Airplane unplugged it.
It may not have been fine. I'm not sure. Anyway, Jets at Houston, and Houston saved their little season yesterday, didn't they?
Ridiculous.
TJ Yates? Ooh, who?
Wow.
What? And for the Jets, will it be Fitzy? Will it be Gino? Fitzy evidently had the work done on his. Will it be Bryce Petty? I mean, people around here are like, look, man, we'll take Petty, just not Smith, all right?
But they'll accidentally send in Tom Petty.
Wow. I actually saw Tom Petty in concert. Sorry,
creepy.
Don't do it. By the way, he's kind of a weird, one of the weirdest rock stars ever, if you will. Anyway. The Texans cannot run the ball. The Jets will stop the run. I don't know who the Jets quarterback is going to be, but I think he'll be the equivalent of TJ Yates. I'm taking the Jets in this one.
So Hoyer's out, right? Is that true?
Appears to be the case, yes.
Wow. Okay, that changed my pick. I did not know that. The Texans defense looks rejuvenated with a merciless linebacker. Is that the best name right now?
That's pretty good.
Merciless.
So I did like Steve Stonebreaker.
Yeah, Steve Stonebreaker. There's some great names. Merciless is one of them. I'm going to change my pick. I had written down the Texans here, but not knowing that, well, like it mattered that Hoyer played. Yeah, take the Jets.
All right. So what do we got here?
We got the Washington Seminoles.
We have the Washington team versus Carolina Panthers. 9-0 Carolina Panthers. Who's thinking that? People are getting excited about Kirk Cousins and Washington put up a ton of points last week. Yeah, they did against Rex Ryan, who got Rob Ryan, who got fired for that. You cannot read into that. Washington puts up roughly 20 points or less against good defenses this year. Guess what? Carolina's a very good defense. I would expect Washington to score about 14, and I expect the Panthers to double that. Give me Carolina to go 10-0. Who thought you'd be saying that?
Yeah, I mean, Kirk beats Drew Brees. Whoever thought that would happen? But he now faces just a brutal defense. And here's the thing: how does Washington change their defensive game plan? Here they were going against Brees, which is pass. Now they got to go to Carolina and stop the run. I don't know that you can just turn on a dime like that. I'm not a D coordinator, but I think that's going to be difficult.
Neither is Rob Ryan.
Yeah, that's true. Right now I have the same job as Rob Ryan does. Actually, I have a job, Rob Ryan. And I do believe the Panthers I think the Panthers' next 3 games are cakewalks, and I'm taking the Panthers here.
Yeah, I actually looked at their schedule and went, wow, they
have nobody.
They just might be able to do it.
Yeah.
Helps that you play in a crappy division, but they just might be able to do it. Stu, Cowboys at Dolphins.
Well, Romo returns. Why does he have to come back this week?
You were going to feel that way.
Scumbag. But frig me anyway. How good can he be after this many weeks off, though? I mean, honestly, he's got to have some rust on him, I would hope. The Dolphins, though, unfortunately, have a hard time stopping the run. So with Romo coming back from an injury, I think Dallas is going to try to pound the ball. We can't cover tight ends. He will throw to Witten. He'll throw to Witten, and run the ball. And we're probably going to win because I just got a gut feeling that the Dolphins win this game. They're going to finish 4-0 against the NFC East and 0-6 against the AFC East. That's my point.
I'm starting to think Romo for MVP. I mean, 0-7 without him. They were supposed to be a playoff caliber team. If he comes back and starts a little winning, streak for them, it shows you just how important he is. I mean, Cole Beasley and Des Bryant and Jason Witten have to be like, thank God you're back.
And it shows you can have a great offensive line, but if you don't have anyone behind there, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like the suck for luck era, didn't it?
No kidding.
Dolphins, you know them better than I do. It's surprising they can't stop the run when you've got, your big off-season acquisition with Sue.
Well, he had a great game.
Yeah, who had a good game.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. But it is a weakness. Covering the tight ends is a weakness. You lost Cameron Wake. I'm taking the Romo effect.
I don't blame anyone. This is pure homerism.
All right.
All right.
So we have Chiefs at Chargers.
Whoa, Nelly.
Oh, you want to go or you want me to?
No, go ahead. This turned into a good game.
Having only beaten the Browns and the Lions, it's hard to make a case for the Chargers. I think that the Chiefs have found, just like the Bears may have found their replacement, Chick Hendrick, am I saying that right? West? Let's just call him Mr. West. Is really stepping in and replacing Jamal Charles in a way that I did not expect to have happen. The Chiefs actually kind of look like a team that could make a little second half run to me.
Mm-hmm. It's a good place to start.
I could be wrong. Alex Smith is doing some with the legs too. Like, he's a hard guy to quantify.
Yeah.
Like, you want to call him a game manager, but he's a step above that. So I'm taking the Chiefs on the road.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs here too, even though the Chargers are coming off rested. When you look at their production and the losses that they've had this year, they're not a very good team. They're being coached poorly. Rivers, although statistically Rivers is having a very nice fantasy season, it's not translating to wins. He could be on the way out. Who knows? With all these quarterbacks that are like third stringers that are getting a chance, a guy like Rivers, if there's unrest in his town, could very well end up on one of the 14 or 15 teams that have us quarterbacking them. I think the Chiefs' defense is just way too much for them. They got a boost of confidence. They retired Manning. I think they could retire Rivers as a Charger. I'm going Chiefs.
Doesn't Philip Rivers have like 17 kids in school in like San Diego? Like, he ain't going anywhere.
Or maybe he'll go to Oakland.
Anyway, Green Bay at the Vikings. And let me say this. If Clemson wins the national championship and my Vikings win the Super Bowl, I'm dropping the mic. And
Last season of electric football.
And walking away from football forever. And if the damn Mets had won the World Series, even better. But it seems to work for me picking against the Vikings. So, God, dog.
Gosh darn it.
The Green Bay Packers are going to win this one. It is actually hard to imagine them dropping 4 straight. I know they're in disarray. I've watched, their play. We're at home, but I'm picking the Packers because I'll jinx us if I don't. So there's my pick.
I'm going to go with your boys. The Packers can't run the ball right now.
See, this works. This is how we keep winning.
Yeah,
I go against them, you go for them.
It's true. I like them this year. AP ran for 200 yards. Now, granted, I don't know that he'll do that again, but Green Bay's defense is one that you can run on, and the Vikings seem to have found the right mix of a lot of AP, enough of Bridgewater, and their defense is keeping it close. If Tampa Bay is shutting down people, why can't Minnesota shut down Aaron Rodgers? People are shutting down Aaron Rodgers. There's something wrong with the Packers. I don't know what it is. There's something wrong with them. I'm taking the Vikings.
Well, the Butler did it on that one play, and in 2 plays. This was weird to me. Maybe it's just my weird brain working this way. But in 2 crucial plays, a Butler came up and knocked a ball away from a guy in the end zone.
Yeah.
So Odell Beckham, was he reaching that ball out to do some sort of celebration?
Yeah, I think he was going to do some kind of...
Because first you catch it, then after the ref goes like this, you can do your little celebration. If he was poking that, people around here are accusing him of poking that ball out as celebration. Boy, that's a big mistake.
Looked like it.
It sure did. The other guy for the Packers, was it Adams? What's his name? Cresdon Butler, Clemson man, by the way.
Well, then you should know.
Not to clear, but Adams didn't really make the catch. But just kind of a weird coincidence that 2 defensive backs named Butler made huge plays.
And as we all know, the Butler did it.
The Butler did it. There's
that was our long point.
San Francisco, 3-6, including a win over my Vikes, at Seattle. And what the hell has happened to Seattle's defense? They just look confused out there.
I was watching Richard Sherman, and I wanted to mention this. I'm glad you brought it up. He looks like he's grimacing after every call that doesn't go his way. Like, every time he held onto a guy's jersey, shouldn't have been a call. Well, I think they're so cocky that they're overconfident in what they can get away with. And guess what? They're not getting away with it anymore. And I think it's catching up with them. And it looks like they're kind of pissed off at each other that these things are happening. Just something I noticed watching.
Yeah, there's dissension there. There's seriously dissension there. And it seems like a communication issue, especially with the defensive backs.
I think they lost the team concept. I think now they're all individuals who want to be the guy.
Curse of the Super Bowl.
Looks like that's what it looks like to me.
They're still going to beat the hell out of San Francisco.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, we're talking Blaine.
San Francisco can't score.
So here's a chance for Seattle.
Seriously,
here's a chance for Seattle to right the ship, and they're lucky because the Packers and the Falcons aren't running away with things.
Right.
So they can turn this around and become.
I hear doors.
Wow, the ghost of Christmas past just walked in. So we're both taking Seattle, right?
Yeah, look, the 49ers can't score. They're averaging, I think, 12 points a game. You're not going to beat any. Yeah, they have 126 points
except for week
1. 10 games. Yeah, all right. The Hawks are reeling, and they are in a position here to not even make the playoffs. I don't see that happening. And like I said, Sherman has to stop grimacing at every play and just play the frickin' game.
All right. We've got the Bengals at the Cardinals, and this is the best game of the week in my eyes. It's the Red Rider, as J.J. Watt
what the
called
hell
him,
was that all about?
Versus the Redbirds. Well, evidently his nickname is the Red Rifle.
Oh.
I thought it was the red-headed stepchild, the way Cincinnati fans beat on him.
I thought it was Heat Miser.
Heat Miser works. That's our nickname for him. But, this is the game of the week, and what do you take away from the Texans game? I think so. Do you
I think Monday night is, but go ahead.
Well, you got that. You got Vikings-Packers. There's some good games this week. Do you take anything away from that Texans loss? What I take away is Carson Palmer is a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's going against his original team. The Cardinals are explosive. Larry Fitzgerald has had a rebirth. Andre Ellington, Clemson
what a
man,
run. Holy
breaking
crap.
off a huge run.
It's great.
Staying in bounds. I am actually taking the Cardinals on this based on their offense, not their defense like it used to be.
Agreed, and I think Houston showed everyone else how to beat, I don't know what that Star Wars formation was that Cincinnati tried for the first 3 plays, and they were the only 3 successful plays they had, it seemed, the rest of the night.
Dun, 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 dun.
Arizona's a better defense. I think the Bengals are starting to play better teams, and it's starting to show that they aren't all that. I think people caught up with them. I'm taking the Cardinals. And the next game, Monday night, is why I think it's more intriguing. It's the Bills-Pats. It's a divisional game.
Go with it.
And you know, here you have a team that's either going to knock off the best team in the league or just become another victim of what is looking like the best team they've had. They're just steamrolling people for the most part. Other than the Giants game, they've really kind of just beat the shit out of everybody else. If Coughlin knew how to, you know, use a clock and throw 3 passes before the 2-minute warning, giving Tom Brady 2 minutes and 30 yards to go, you're an idiot. How are you still the coach? Anyway, the Bills go on the road for the 2nd week in a row, which is tough, especially after wearing those red uniforms the week before against the Jets. They've had a couple more days to prepare. That really never matters against Belichick. If the Bills win, and I hate to say it, I'm hoping that they do for perfection reasons only, the Patriots have to make a mistake. If the Patriots have a miscue, the Bills can take advantage of it. I haven't seen many miscues.
So Stewart wants the 72 Dolphins to crack,
That's all I
crack
care
the
about.
campaign.
After that, I could give a flying
He needs
monkey.
Carolina and the Patriots to go down. And the loss of Julian Edelman, you wouldn't think you'd be saying this. It's like saying the loss of Edelman is crucial, but it really seems.
Belichick goes in the crowd and finds a kid that has a Patriots jersey on and puts him in, and he scores 3 touchdowns.
Well, and their special teams tackling was impressive because they got Danny Amendola to the ground. How do you run across the guy's ankles and take him down when he's got 82 yards and has a clear shot at the end zone? Man.
Oh.
But yeah, it's the next little Wes Welker up. You know, you go Welker, you go Edelman. Now it's going to be Amendola,
Yep.
evidently.
It doesn't make a difference.
Were you impressed by what the Bills did against the Jets?
No, not at all.
I wasn't either.
I don't think the Jets are good.
There you go. So I think we're both leaning for the Patriots. I think you're going to have 2 10-0 teams after this week,
I think so.
and I think it's going to be very interesting to see as both of them head for the chance for perfection. One last little quick comments question thing. Antonio Brown's backflip or front flip, excuse me.
Impressive.
Yeah, impressive, but
Stupid.
yeah. Am I alone in this? Like, do you not remember Martin
You're alone.
Gramatica? I think it was.
Yeah.
It was one of the Gramaticas, like jumped up to celebrate a kick.
Someone else did that. Someone else heard
and was
themselves
out.
celebrating.
Oh well, was it Trent Green? Somebody that did the headbutt.
Yeah, it was Trent Green, concussed himself, I think.
Yeah, there have been a few of these. So I gotta say, maybe people love it. Maybe people think it's great. Having bet on many teams that had the score run up against this. I'm an English major. I went to Clemson as an English major. It's impossible I get that wrong. But I gotta tell you, like it's reminds me of when Terrell Owens was like pulling out cell phones and stuff. Like it's getting a little crazy.
Yeah.
And actually a little dangerous. If he blows out a knee or something on that, what are Steeler fans, saying? So I'd like to see your comments again. And that's been Electric Football.
All right. I have one question for the house. Who do you think is going to win Bills Patriots?
The Patriots are going to dominate the Bills, and they're going to win by 17.
And there you have it, the headless guesser.
Ghostly voice from the side.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Longest of the season.
Go NFL.